Hi! So Solar finally came out with her second single. As you know, I'm a huge Solar fan and I'm a huge Mamamoo fan, and she's my bias. Solar is my bias. So let's get to it. Start. So she's the queen bee. Okay. First, there's a lot of things that I really love already. So this opening where she raises her hands and everyone is just looking at her, worshiping her, is such a queen moment, that moment where she, here, that when she's raising her hand and everyone else is just worshiping her, such a queen moment for her. She deserves it. That's one. Second, I love this when she breaks the mask. And I've always appreciated with Mamamoo and specifically with Solar how her routine isn't just about grinding hips or just posing, putting out your booty, and those are all okay, But she gives it some variety. Like when I watch her choreography, it's just something different from everything. I'm not saying that all those grinding they're bad, no. I'm just saying that she provides a variety, that her routine always has a narrative. So the way that she interacts, the way that she interacts, her action creates a reaction around her dancers. This is usually something I only see with, more commonly, not only, but more commonly, I see this with male groups when they create their routine. So for her to do something like this, where her action affects everybody else, it gives you a certain a certain dynamism in the choreography, and it tells a story. So now she has been able to establish, I'm the queen and you all follow, you do something based on my action. So it's perfect. See that? She points her fingers, the rest reacts. Also love how here the male dancers are actually the one bowing down, and then the female dancers are the one that are actually higher in levels. So, and then that's another thing. I love how the levels are. So as they move, you'll see how dynamic the levels are. So you have the lower, the middle, and then you have the hive as the highest element in there. Perfect. Okay. Yeah. But I love the colors, green. So yeah, I do think that she's talking about how people are admiring her, giving her praises, and she's just okay. uh, just go ahead and drop it. Give it to me. Keep it coming. So I love that she has been able to position herself as a queen very early on in the lyrics, and she is a queen, of course. So she's just telling the truth. Okay. See, I love these small elements of her choreography. It really tells you a story. It's not just about, as I've said, it's not just about grinding your hips and whatever. Those things aren't bad, by the way. But it's just, she provides a different element in the sea of all these choreographies that are heavy on hips grinding and being sexy and dropping on the floor with your legs wide apart. She provides something different. So this, I love this movement because that in itself is a story. This is a vital part of the storytelling of the song that is highly embedded in the video. Okay. See that? How her action actually creates a reaction. That, see, beautiful. Like if you see that with a lock screen and you see how the others are reacting based on her action, it's beautiful. All those little movements of her hands, it's all about getting the audience to come to her. So she's just telling them, come on over. If you want to praise me, if you want to give something to me, come on over. So all of those little hand movements, all of those mentions of her coming forward and then retreating, that's all part of the storytelling. It's beautiful. So yeah, this part, I love how, yeah. So I love how she has been able to tell the story of her earlier years, how certain actions that she did just because she liked it created such an impact. But to her, it was nothing. She was just being herself. But now she's starting to understand what it means now that she has, become more mature and she has a better grasp of how she's perceived by the public and how her actions actually how her actions affect the public. So yeah, great, beautiful. And then all of this newspapers around her, these are all famous moments that that hit the headlines, that made her famous. When she showed off her abs, that was a huge thing, and to her it was like, I just wanted to do something that everybody else is doing. Boy groups, they always tearing their shirt. Why can't I tear my shirt off? And that was such a beautiful moment. And in the middle, and I love how this entire thing is actually put together. Like all these snippets of her past forms her as a person now from our perspective. But according to her lyrics in the early part of the song, she's questioning everybody else. Are we looking at the same thing? Like, you're looking at me like this, a certain way, like I dare break boundaries. But to me, I'm just doing my thing. So are we looking at the same thing? So it's such a great narrative. And I've always appreciated it when singers actually try to convey a message, tell a story through their song. Okay. That's why I love her. Yeah. That gown is so iconic now. It's again, it's just a mirror of how we look at celebrities. Like, we look at them based on how the media forms them to be. But that's not necessarily who they are. Like, there are patches of all the media moments, patches of the headlines, of certain moments that were highlighted, blown out of proportion. That's who they are to our eyes. And all of those things that we put together have been glamorized to a level where it deters us from seeing the celebrity, who they really are as artists. And while others, I think what I really appreciate about this song is that while other celebrities actually complain about how they're perceived by the media, how their true self isn't anymore seen because of how certain media, certain press companies or certain media channels have painted them, she is here just soaking it in. It's like, okay, if that's how you want to perceive me, if that's how you want to see me, fine, go ahead, come at me. And she's welcoming it. And there's so much power in that when you don't care about what other people think about you and instead you use it to your advantage. There's so much power in that. And I know that men do that a lot. Like if you perceive them to be strong, they're just gonna soak it up. Even if they're not strong, they're gonna say, yeah, sure, go ahead. Perceive me that way. And that's what she's doing here. She's just, okay, you know, there's nothing I can do about how you perceive me, then I'll just enjoy this. If you want to admire me, go ahead and admire. Come at me. Give me whatever it is that you want. Give me the admiration, give me the praises, and I'm fine. So I love the storytelling. I love the visuals and I love the choreography. So for the visuals, I think they did a very good job at giving her her standard, like the bed of the entire music video is actually just white, which symbolizes a lot of things. It's for purity. It's a blank slate. You know, it's the absence of color, and that's who she really is. She's a blank slate. There's so much in her, so much that you can put in her, and so much that she can do. But then they put different scenes that are dominated with different colors. You have yellow, you have green, you have red, and this are all the different views we see of her, the different perceptions we have of her. It's all communicated through the colors and through the different elements in that. And then there's the gown that she wore. I think it is iconic to me now because of the message that it delivers. That she has decided that she was going to glamorously wear all the perceptions we have of her. It doesn't affect who she is, but if this is what we want to think of her, we have the freedom to think of her that way. It doesn't affect her personality, and she's just going to go ahead and live it with grace. So I think that's so powerful, and I love the routine. I love the different. I would love to see actually the performance video. I love the levels, how her action causes a reaction to everybody else because it completes the story. This is about her being a queen bee. I'm convinced. I don't know if it is, but for me, I think this is about her being a queen bee, and it is her action that affects everybody else. So when she does something, then everybody else reacts, not the other way around. I also love how it wasn't just about hip grinding and going on the floor and just spreading your legs. As I've said, there's a real story in the choreography, from that face movement to all of her actions where she seemed to be getting calling the audience to come closer to her. It is a full narrative for me. So I love the beat. The beat is so catchy. It's so solar. The song is so solar. The lyrics is so solar, and the music is so solar. She was never the kind of artist that would put a lot of layers in her music, that would put like 5,000 different beats and 5,000 different instruments in there. She's very basic, and I think that's the beauty of her art, because she does not sort of shield the quality by putting a lot of elements in there. She keeps it simple, because really the beauty of songs is really in the simplicity of it. If I've said this once and I'll say it again, that if I'm convinced that a great song is if you can sing it with nothing but a guitar and it's still great. And this is exactly that song. Try to imagine it with nothing but her voice and a guitar, and it's still beautiful. That's why Beatles songs are great. That's why there's so much you can do with all of their songs, because it's so simple. Here it's so simple. It's just few elements, but the beauty is in the melody and the message. Love her. Thanks.